decrease developers, we're going to increase them. So the other thing that is a falsity in this argument is not everything can be 10x. We used to say that in
Right.
coding, like, 10 people can have a baby in a month, so it's some things just take time because it's a one person job, even though it's lengthy. And so then there's knowledge and domain knowledge and all these other things that can be captured inside of people that some people don't have, and they necessarily can't do it. The other problem that I think I have with AI in general, and spread that across teams, is this whole thing of context. So each chat that you have has a context, and how do you share that context on a team
Yeah.
so that we're all working in the same AI session? And that's a
That's a problem that needs to
problem
be solved. Yeah,
that
it
needs to
is.
be solved. Like I said, there's some inventions here
Yeah.
that haven't happened yet that need to happen. The other problem is, even with the paid version, which I have, is it'll just stop responding when the request gets too long.
Yeah, especially with
So
code, right? We noticed that it
yeah,
gets to there's definitely a finite point where it writes so
it
many
just stops
lines and then it
writing.
just stops writing.
Yeah,
And
and
we're
so
only
you have to
making a
come in.
one-page
Can you finish
thing.
the footer, please? Oh, sorry about that. And then it'll finish it out. And
Yeah.
then you've got two blocks that you got to kind of integrate and push together. But then add that to times a million. So, like, if you take an ASP site, you may have 1,000 files. You got multiple code files, multiple CSS files, and a lot of things going on. And you think merge conflicts is a problem. Wait till we have session conflicts inside. Well, my chat GP said this. What did yours say? And they'll have
Yeah.
names for each other. I call mine Frank. Frank said this. Well,
Yeah.
Alice said this. Like,
Well, that
which one
I
is
mean,
right?
that's
Like,
one of
we
the
don't know
issues
how
we
to
need to
code. No
solve.
one knows. Yeah,
That's
no
one of
one
the
knows.
issues we need to solve. We both need to be talking to Frank. That's one of
Yeah,
the like having
right.
this continuous session amongst multiple users is a thing that doesn't
Yeah,
exist yet. But in order for this to work on a bigger project and there's multiple people working on it, that will have to exist.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're right. Because what'll happen is you're right. It'll give you just because you're using GPT-4 or ChatGPT using GPT-4, like it doesn't give the same answer. If you
No, it doesn't.
put your
You can
question
run
in 10
back.
times, it'll give you
I've
10 answers.
Yeah, I've tried this where I'll like take the prompts and push them out somewhere and then put them back into a new session,
Yep.
and I get different answers. I got a different taco site because we were kind of go redo this again.
Yep.
I got a totally different site. You would be amazed how different it is. It's
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
okay,
Yeah.
it changed it.
Yep.
It's
Well, we
like,
saw
all
not only
right.
does it change its design, it changes its approach, it changes its
Yeah,
like underlying
right.
technology that it uses. Like it's not consistent in that. It doesn't give a consistent answer
Right.
to a question because I think the way that it works is obviously to an answer to the question build me a website, there's a million different answers to that. There's a million different ways to do it. Therefore, it gives you
Yeah.
one of the ones. It's never incorrect. It just gives you one of the versions of that. Whereas,
Right.
whereas if you asked it a finite question, it should give you a finite answer, right? If it wants to
Right.
know whether this color is red, it should know yes or no, and it's going to give you this consistent answer. It's when there's more than one answer, it will just doesn't give you the top one, or I don't know how it works in
Right.
terms of like how it does it.
We see this in Midjourney too, where and they're trying to solve
yeah.
these issues. Like, I want the same character every time I put this prompt in. I want this to look like Kevin Doyle every time, and it doesn't. Like, it's so trying to create a comic or a movie or something like that with just Midjourney is a problem. The artist captures Peter Parker and figures out what he looks like, and then it's really consistent across the screen. But imagine watching Into the Spider-Verse in theaters, and every time Miles Morales comes on the screen, it's a different dude. You're like,
Yeah,
who? What